Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, the Beauty Myth. Learn the beauty secrets of the goddess next door in this action-packed Isis series adventure. Get Isis, the Beauty Myth at online booksellers everywhere today. Six people, including a pregnant woman and a 1-year-old baby, wound up losing their lives when a nurse drove through a red light at an intersection in Windsor Hills. Now, in this incident, your 37-year-old Nicole Linton allegedly drove through this intersection at 90 miles an hour and wound up having a fiery crash at the intersection of La Brea and Slauson Avenues, where her Mercedes slammed into multiple vehicles, and 3 of them were so damaged they were engulfed in flames, and this led to the loss of 6 lives. Now, the police are seeing the behaviors of your Nicole Linton as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behaviors of your Nicole Linton, they fit the pattern and profile for disturbed and troubled females that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And it's clear to me that your Nicole Linton definitely was a woman in crisis due to the drastic actions she took by driving her Mercedes at 90 miles an hour through a busy intersection at La Brea and Slauson. Now, it is alleged that your Nicole Linton was driving through that intersection at 90 miles an hour after she had an argument with her boyfriend on FaceTime. Now, it is alleged that your Nicole Linton got upset when her boyfriend allegedly ignored her during the FaceTime as he was breaking up with her, and this is alleged to be the motive for your Nicole Linton getting in her Mercedes and driving at 90 miles an hour, leading up to that explosive crash at La Brea and Slauson that cost the lives of 6 people, including that pregnant woman and that baby. Now, it is alleged in some reports that your Nicole Linton, a nurse, was looking to commit suicide after having this argument with her boyfriend, who was allegedly trying to break up with her, and it looks like your Nicole Linton basically was upset that this boyfriend was looking to leave her. Now, when it comes down to many women out here, they invest their emotions in some men, and because they invest so many emotions in those men, they cannot really handle it when those men decide to break up with them. And that's what looks like what happened here with your Nicole Linton. She couldn't handle the fact that this man was rejecting her, and because she was so emotionally hurt by this man rejecting her, she felt some sense of worthlessness and hopelessness, and this was the thing that made it look like she was looking to take her life, because she felt like she had no life without this man. And it looks like to me she was looking to go out here and end her life. Unfortunately, in her attempt to allegedly end her life, she wound up taking the lives of 6 innocent people, like that pregnant woman and that child. And this whole incident just shows the whole selfishness of these women who are in crisis like this. They are so caught up in their emotions about how they feel about a situation that they really don't have much regard for the lives of others out here. All they're thinking about is ending their lives so that they can show this man what they're missing, or trying to not deal with the hurt of being rejected. And this all comes from them not being able to know how to navigate situations like breakups. Now, I know that some women out here get real emotional over breakups, but no man is worth taking your life over. A dude, if he's not into you, he's not into you, and you have to be able to take the fact that the relationship is over, and once the relationship is over, you have to accept that he isn't interested in you because it's just not going to work out for him. But many of these single, successful, well educated women, like your Nicole Linton, they can't take the fact that a man has rejected them, and in their minds, this shows that they are a failure because they could not keep a man. But the main reason why they probably couldn't keep a man is because they invested time in the wrong man. Because I believe that your Nicole Linton possibly was involved with one of these Pookies, because many of these single successful black women, they love getting involved with these Pookies, and they oftentimes invest all of their emotions into a Pookie. And when Pookie decides that he's tired of dealing with the successful, well-educated black woman, he then decides he wants to go get with some other female, and this is what sets it off in the educated woman's mind, because it's a major bruise to her ego, because she has been told that she is an asset by feminism for having her education and her career. But many times the Pookies, because they have low value and low character, they're not interested in this woman anymore, because they've possibly got the draws, and then once they got the draws, they want to get out the door. And this is again a major bruise to the ego of the single, successful, well-educated black woman, because here's a man who is rejecting her, and on that rejection, it's a major bruise to her ego, because she thought that her education and her degrees would make her an asset to this low-level man. But this low-level man, all he's looking to do is get the resources, get her to drop the skid mark thong, and then once he gets his taste of the atomic waste, he's ready to bounce. And I guess that all of that, this woman was never taught about men, because a lot of these women, they're not really taught about men, and they don't have a vetting process. So when they get involved with this Pookie, they're thinking that the relationship is going to go one way. Unfortunately, it doesn't go that way, and they're stuck with a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And according to reports, this relationship had been strained for some time, but this dude was looking to break up on FaceTime because he was basically tired of her. And when she realized that he was tired of her, she felt like she was tired of living and looked to try to take an attempt on her own life that would let her go out in a blaze of glory and let her get the biggest amount of attention that would make this guy feel like he was missing something. But when it comes down to Pookie, Pookie doesn't care, because if Pookie is looking to break up with you, he's already auditioned his next girlfriend, and that's probably the thing that this woman didn't understand, as she was looking to go and participate in this stunt where she would look to take her own life to ironically show its value to Pookie. But what's sad here is that 6 innocent people wound up losing their lives because this woman was not really raised to understand how to deal with a breakup. And because this woman didn't know how to deal with a breakup and probably wasn't taught these important female life skills as related to dealing with a breakup, what she did was destroy the lives of 6 people with her histrionic stunt to get attention for herself. And as she destroyed those lives, she wound up still being alive, getting only minor injuries from this crash where she drove this vehicle for over 90 miles an hour and wound up taking the lives of 6 people. Now, the DA's office has charged your Nicole Linton with 6 counts of murder, and 5 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter. And if convicted, your Nicole Linton will not be going into the hereafter. No, she will be going into the Los Angeles or California penal system, and she will be stuck there playing spades with Big Betty and Sandra inside of the women's prison for the next 90 years as she is in there trying to go out here and trying to play spades for some ramen noodles, cans of Dr. Pepper, cups of coffee, and or 6-pack Oreo cookies and Fritos chips. She will be spending almost the rest of her life in prison for the 6 people whose lives she took. Meanwhile, she's sitting in prison with Big Betty and Rhonda, and what's happening is that Pookie is going on with his life, and he's sitting there with another chick. And this is what flies over the head of your Nicole Linton, because she sat there and took people's lives, and sadly she didn't think critically about the situation to understand that if it's over with a man, you just need to let it be over with a man. Now, there are some that believe that your Nicole Linton would get a slap on the wrist and not be held accountable for her actions. And I believe that could possibly be a case here, because in gynocentric America, we have females who go out here and participate in egregious crimes, and they get a pass for them. But I don't really think that this female is going to get a pass for these crimes because, 1, she is a black woman, and 2, the heinousness of her crimes, and 3, I believe that according to the law presented here, this woman has again committed a serious crime, because if she was looking to commit suicide and it led to the deaths of these individuals, then we have a clear case for murder, because there's some malice of forethought, and it's clear that this woman was intending to go out here and do harm with this vehicle and use it as a weapon. So it looks like to me that this might be one of those rare cases where this female may wind up being held accountable for the reprehensible and egregious act that she's participated in. However, in many years, we've seen women go out here and participate in heinous crimes like this and not be held accountable for them. But I don't believe that's the case for this woman. It's clear to me that she did, again, participate in this case with malice of forethought, and I don't really see people being sympathetic to this woman. Yes, she was struggling with some issues as related to her boyfriend, but I don't believe that they fit within the category of mental health, because this female, again, clearly was doing this, as I see it, to get attention from Mr. Pookie, and she was doing this histrionic stunt to get attention from Mr. Pookie. But the whole thing is that she has to deal with the consequences of her actions. Now, when it comes down to many of these women in crisis, they are ticking time bombs, and they're ticking time bombs because people enable their behavior for extended periods of time. Many of these women get away with bad behavior for extended periods of time until they participate in behavior so egregious that they have to be held accountable for it. Now, they say that this Nicole Linton had multiple car accidents for many years, and maybe this is the one that just went too far. Now, again, it is alleged that she participated in many car accidents, but this was the one that basically just let everybody know that this woman was just out of control. And this is another aspect of the woman crisis that is a part of it. You have many of these women who get passes after passes for many years, and then eventually they do something so heinous that they have to be punished for it. And taking the lives of a 1-year-old baby and a pregnant woman is so heinous. I don't really see any judge looking to give this woman a plea bargain or a slap on the wrist. No, in this case, this female needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and if she is convicted of these crimes, she needs to receive the maximum sentence for committing these crimes. Because to go out here and take the lives of innocent people because you're upset over your boyfriend dumping you, that is extremely egregious. Because if you have a boyfriend who dumps you, that's something that you need to deal with indoors, and that's something you need to deal with a counselor or your friends. Or if you're really having issues, you need to deal with this with a licensed mental health counselor. And if this is the case, like I'm believing, this female definitely needed a psychotherapist if she's got this type of distraught. Because anybody who invests so much emotion into a man that you're looking to hurt yourself to get his attention, you have serious issues as relating to people, and you really don't understand the concept of boundaries as related to relationships with people. Because healthy people, when they have a relationship with a person, they know that there's a possibility that this person, if they're not interested, they have a right to break up with you, and you can't really take it personal. You just have to accept that, okay, this person isn't right for me, and I need to let them go. But some women, they get so emotionally attached to a man that they can't understand how to be able to process their feelings as related to rejection. And this is what leads to them going out here and participating in crazy stunts like this to get their attention. But these stunts, again, are not something somebody does because they have a mental health issue, as I believe. It's because they're angry and they want to show this person that they are somebody valuable, show them their worth, and it just shows how little self-esteem and little self-worth a woman like this has. And that's what makes this a woman in crisis, because women in crisis, they have serious issues at being able to navigate life because they never really understood how things work. And that's because they were not taught good female life skills by their mother or their father. Because in today's feminist society, many young women do not get the skills that they need to know how to process as related to social situations. Yes, they can go and do well in school. Yes, they can do well on a job. But when it comes down to people, many of these women fall apart. And in their interpersonal relationships, they cannot function because, again, being able to socialize is something that you learn from your parents. But in a feminist society, in a gynocentric society, the women are taught to be like men, and they think that being like men is holding your feelings in. And when a woman holds her feelings in, she doesn't know how to process those feelings. And when she can't process those feelings, what she does is she self-destructs by participating in self-destructive behavior to get attention. And this behavior is what leads to stunts like this. And these stunts sadly wind up taking people's lives, like the 6 innocent people, including this pregnant woman and a child. This is what happens when you have women in crisis. And sadly, we don't want to talk about the woman crisis like we don't want to talk about the man crisis, because talking about the woman crisis means we have to change the way we do things in this country. But incidents like this are starting to become more and more the norm, because as these feminist indoctrinated women try to navigate life, they are finding themselves being unhappy and dissatisfied, and that's leading to them participating in self-destructive behaviors like this. And we're going to see, sadly, more behaviors like this in the future, just like all of the mass shootings and the violence we're seeing because of the complete deterioration and breakdown of the family that creates the man and woman crisis in this country. Now, my book, The Woman Crisis, will be available in the fall, and I hope to have it out soon so that it can go out and start helping women go out here and be able to overcome the woman crisis. And if you want to learn what makes many of America's men not be able to function in society, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me talking about more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, My Sister, My Frenemy. It's a sister act as the goddess next door and the devilish diva team up in this action-packed Isis series adventure. Get Isis, My Sister, My Frenemy in paperback and e-readers everywhere.